welcome to VAIR TISS channel, and over here I am going to discuss something that is very important, which is the online personal interview and some tips which will help you get through it very easily and very comfortably. So come, let's take a look. So firstly, I'm going to talk about the 10 ways to create the perfect impression. Now see, you obviously have to give a nice welcome. A nice welcome helps you build a nice rapport with the interviewer. For example, if they tell you that good evening, whatever your name, suppose your name is Aditi. Good evening, Aditi. How are you? So you just say good evening, ma'am, I'm good. But a good way to answer it would have been good evening, ma'am, I am doing good. Thank you so much for asking. What about you? I'm sure you had a tired day, or I'm sure you're having a long day. Then you look at the interviewer in the eye, especially when you're listening to them. So, since this is an online interview, the best way to look at the interview in their eye is when you look at the camera. So, keep the device on your eye level and make sure that the camera is at your eye level so it's easy for you to maintain eye contact. Smile at all the right moments. So, smiling obviously helps a lot. It helps you relieve all the tension, all the nervousness, and all the anxiety that you're holding just before the interview. And it is a great way to just calm yourselves down. It gives a very pleasant and a very nice impression. Look keen and energetic. So it's not only important that you look good, you look presentable, but you have to look like curious, interested, and energetic. Maybe you got tired waiting for the interview to start, but don't let that show on your face and through your expressions. Show you have knowledge. So don't feel shy about sharing things, the knowledge about which you have. So always talk one or two lines in detail, though you need to keep your answers concise. Dress impressively. Like in the following slides, I'm going to talk about how to dress up for the interview so that it helps you. Use empathetic hand gestures. Now, when you are sitting for an online interview, the only part that is visible is just the top half of your body. So it's important that you use good amount of hand gestures and empathetic hand gestures. Basically, your hand gestures should be in sync with the words that you're using so that your tone and you don't come across as very robotic. Ensure your words and tone of voice. So your tone of voice should not be irritable, like yeah, or it should not be very down. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Okay, I am thinking about it. Yes, sure, I would love to do it. Yes, sure, I would love to be a part of it. So your voice always has to be energetic. Your tone has to be very energetic. Mirror their body language but subtly. So if they are getting into a casual body, if their body language is getting into a very casual tone, don't imitate them. But you can mirror them if they are sitting straight. The posture always has to be straight. Thank them before you leave. So just thank them. Don't come across as very flattering or very buttering. Now here's to power dressing. So now first thing that you need to remember is that you need to be yourself. So dress to impress. Now for males, decide on your clothes at least 2 days prior. Keep it simple, a shirt and a pant with a well-matched tie. Now the tie is best if it's of a solid color or if it has something very simple pattern. You can wear a blazer on top, and if you're wearing a tie, make sure that it is not of the same color as the shirt. The shirt is light color. Best colors to go for an interview in is navy blue or black. Keep an alternative pair of clothes ready because that day you're expected to be clumsy, a little nervous, so maybe you drop something, so always have a backup ready. Your belt and shoe color should match. Though this is not an in-person interview, but I would suggest that sit down dressed up completely as if you're appearing for an in-person interview. It helps you get that serious and professional, body language and environment. And at the same time, in case you need to get up during the interview, it just shows well on you. Don't wear any accessories. So if you're a boy and you've got an ear piercing, a stud would work. Make sure that your hair is very neat and well trimmed. You're well groomed. Your mustache or beard is well groomed. And if you're wearing a watch, don't wear a metallic watch, a metal strap watch. Preferably wear a leather or a silicone strap watch so that it does not reflect. Now for females, of course, decide on your clothes at least 2 days prior. Wear formal shoes. If you decide on heels, then keep the color simple. Well, this is more for an in-person interview. In an online interview, doesn't matter so much. Dress formally. Obviously, that is a shirt, trousers, and a blazer. That is Western business formals. If you want to wear Indian, you can. A kurta is fine, but make sure you wear a dupatta with a kurta. And if you're wearing a sari, the colors are very subtle. And say no to jewelry, avoid rings, bracelets, and danglers or hoops. Just ear studs would work. The makeup should be minimal, and the nail color should also preferably be a nude color, not bright reds and pinks. So this is something, the difference between a virtual interview and an in-person interview. So it sometimes becomes difficult to adapt from a physical setup to something that you are more accustomed to is an in-person interview. Now, in a virtual interview, you can sit in a familiar environment, so that is a definitely a pro, where you can actually sit in a place which you know is quiet, which you know is well lit up, which you know the background is very neat. In an in-person interview, you have to be in an unknown environment where you don't know where you're going to sit. Are you going to sit across a table, or is there going to be a chair across the table, or in the middle of a room? So it becomes a little confusing. Now, virtual interview is of course completely dependent on technology, whereas personal interview is partially dependent on technology. So make sure you also have technology backups. Virtual interview definitely restricts complete visibility, as I told you before, that only half of your body is visible. So make sure that you're using a lot of hand gestures. But if it's a personal interview, in-person interview, that is, it ensures complete visibility. Your background has a role to play in a virtual interview, so make sure that it's tidy, it's well kept, and it doesn't match with your clothes. No role to be played by the background in an in-person interview. Now, in a virtual interview, the interviewee controlled environment is there. For example, if you choose to sit somewhere else, you're allowed to do that. But in an in-person interview, interviewer controlled environment is what comes into play. So these are all really good advantages of having a virtual interview over a personal interview, in-person interview. Now here are some do's and don'ts of video interview. So of course, dress formally from head to toe. Use professional body language. Don't sit like that, or don't just do this. All of that. Test your technology. So if it is a Zoom call, so TISS interviews are held over Zoom. So have it installed on your desktop. Prepare in advance. Be honest. Be yourself, and build a rapport while you speak. Treat it as a formal conversation and not as an interview. And the don'ts are, don't miss out on going through the application filled in by you in detail. So the DAF that you fill up, or the application form that you fill up, make sure you know everything about it, so that most of the questions which are from the DAF, you're able to answer it pretty comfortably. Don't let the background be unkept and noisy. So put a DND, like a do not disturb sort of a placard on your doors on that particular day. Avoid touching and covering your face, like sitting like this or sitting like this. So don't do that. Use mobile phones to appear for virtual interview. Now it is a strict no because there are a lot of notifications which might keep on disturbing you. So the best, and you'll not be able to go very hands free, very comfortable. The picture is also very narrow in that case. So the best would be if you appear from a device, preferably from a laptop or a personal computer. And of course, it's better if you don't use virtual background, but if you absolutely have no choice, then you can go for it. Now, of course, you need to plan for the interview. Grasp as much information as you can about the institute, the curriculum, and the course. So these are the three things that you really need to focus on. Go through the course description in detail. So if it is MHA, MPH, what is the difference between MHA and MPH, SC, Social Epidemiology, or if it is MA and HR. So don't keep on saying MBA, 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 because there is a difference between MBA and MA. So at least you should come across as well informed about the course description. Don't forget to reconfirm the date and the medium of interview. Maintain strong eye contact while looking at the camera, and of course groom professionally. Now, these are a few tips to prepare. So, like you would for an in-person interview. Like I said, be dressed head to toe, wearing the shoes, belts, trousers, everything, and as if it's like a get set go situation. Your shots and your angles. So, what is the angle through which at least the torso is visible? Both your shoulders are in the frame. So that angle is very important, and the camera is at eye level. There should be optimal distance from the screen. So just see that most of the fan or the ceiling is not visible, but the focus is on your face. Or there's not a lot of background visible, but you're actually, the face and the torso is the focus. Pay attention to your voice. So your voice should come across as loud and clear. It should not be shaky, it should not be very low, and minimize interruptions. So try and put a DND board or a placard in front of your gate. So no phones, no phone calls, no knocks on the door. These are some things that you can control. Some extrinsic factors, some external factors like rain or lightning, of course you can't really control it, but this you can. Focus on your posture, like I said, that your face and your torso should be there in the screen, should be visible, and your back should be straight at all points of time. Facial expressions, so even if there's something that you don't like that the interviewers are asking, don't roll your eyes, or don't be like, or don't be like so harmful, that kind of a thing. You have to maintain a very pleasant facial expression. Most of the time you have to be smiling unless they're talking about a grave topic. Indicate after completing answers. So once you're done giving your answer, just indicate by nodding your head. So yes, that's what I would like to say on this topic. Or yes, that's my thought on this topic. Or yes, that's how I would like to conclude my answer. So that's how you just give them an indicator that you are done answering the question. Now, here are a few questions that you should anticipate and that you should prepare for. So, of course, tell me something about yourself. Why TISS? Why the course? Any two changes you would like to see in the field? So, for example, you're taking up psychology or you're going for HRM. What are the two changes that you would like to see? Which subject are you most excited to study? Enumerate on your leadership skills, 5 year and 10-year goals, your role model and inspiration, and of course, everything about your DAF, because your DAF is your question paper in the interview. So keep these points in mind. I hope it helps you for your TISS OPI. So if you want to join the TISS UET community, get access to live classes, mock strategies, free resources, comment TISS to get the link, and we'll be there to help you. Thank you so much. I hope you like this. So don't forget to click on like and subscribe. All the best.